Hello, I'm Dr. Emily Carman, and I am an Associate Professor of Film Studies at Chapman University, and Cohen Media Group has invited me here today to introduce this sparkling film for you, Fire Over England, which comes to us from 1930s England, starring Laurence Olivier and Vivien Leigh and Flora Robson, among others. This film was produced by Alexander Korda, and he was something of a prestige producer in 30s England, and his goal was to elevate the reputation of British cinema, and you can see that to full effect here in Fire Over England. The movie introduces us to two screen icons of the 20th century, Vivien Leigh and Laurence Olivier. You know Vivien Leigh because she's going to be cast as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind in a few years, and hopefully you'll recognize Laurence Olivier, who finds his Hollywood success also a few years later. He's cast as Heathcliff in Samuel Goldwyn's 1939 production of Wuthering Heights, and he's cast as Maxim de Winter in Hitchcock's American film debut, Rebecca, in 1940. But here, they're playing in Elizabethan England. The backdrop is the impending Spanish Armada invasion of England in 1588. Olivier is playing a pirate-turned-crusader for the Queen, who's getting distracted by his love interest, who's played by Vivien Leigh, who's a fictional lady-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth. The chemistry between Olivier and Leigh is quite apparent in this film, because they are at this time beginning their off-screen love affair. They're both still married to other people, but that's not for long. Leigh is luminous in this film. You can see perhaps the potential that David O. Selznick saw to cast her as Scarlett O'Hara in this film. And Olivier is quite dashing. You might see that there's potential for him to be typecast as a swashbuckler in Hollywood, much in the mold of Errol Flynn, but he also gets the opportunity to prove his acting talent in this film. But they're not alone in this film. This film also has a pretty impressive cast, including Raymond Massey. He's Canadian-born, so perhaps that's why he's cast as the devious King Philip of Spain. And the real star of this film is Flora Robson, who plays the Queen Elizabeth. And she really establishes the gold standard for Elizabeths that follow. In this film, Flora Robson shows the full range of emotions that Queen Elizabeth might have felt at this time. She's vulnerable, yet strong. She's funny and witty, and yet insecure about her aging and feeling a bit upstaged by her beautiful young lady-in-waiting played by Vivien Leigh. This film is photographed beautifully. Its cinematographer was James Wong Howe, Chinese-American born, and you might recognize other films that he made, including Body and Soul, HUD, The Sweet Smell of Success, The Thin Man. If you look at the film that James Wong Howe shot in the early 1930s, Transatlantic, you can see how it prefigures the deep focus cinematography that's hinted at in this film and later comes to full effect in the 1940s with Citizen Kane. Alexander Korda was so taken with Leigh's screen presence that he reshot the opening of the film to feature her frantically running around court trying to find a missing pearl for Elizabeth's gown, as opposed to the original opening that was supposed to show the impending Spanish Armada coming towards England. So I hope you enjoy Fire Over England today, and I should mention that the restoration was done in conjunction with the British Film Institute. And please be sure to look for other great classics screening here on the Cohen Media channel.